Hello, I'm back. And yes, I have my lovely assistant. She's gotten even more playful, so hopefully she doesn't do anything strange. She's a kitten, so you never know. She loves to walk on the computer, and she's already shut it down once. So I have the essays for both Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 done. I have turned in number 3, but not number 4 yet. So we'll start off with the reading of the essay for Chapter 3, which was an absolute bear for me. And yes, I'm tired. The AC's out, which means I got to keep the kids up later. So it's cool enough for them to go to sleep, which means I'm up later doing this. So, this is the second battle of Magh, Tuireadh, if I even pronounced that correctly. The prompt is, how do the themes of light versus dark, order versus chaos figure into the story? In the story is Lug, who is both a Daedanan and a Formian, consisting of both light and darkness, order and chaos. Let's put that down. That wins the battle and brings peace to both sides. What does the story seem to be saying about the nature of this apparent conflict? You're a menace. Nope, you're not going back up there. Okay. First off, I don't know what it is, but I have a strong problem following the story as it is written. And this is something I've expressed to you guys in several videos. I had to go back to Wiki to find the synopsis and then try to read it again. No kidding. I found a brief summary, but it helped. Now I'm a ladder. She's too smart for my own good. In the story of the second battle of Magh, Tuireadh, it talks about how the Bress, the oppressive ruler of the Tuatha, who is the son of the Formian king, refuses to help him get his throne back after being disposed. The kingdom had been oppressed, and Bress was even bested by the Formian king in the trials he endured. Bress was sent to Balor. Bress even bested the Formian king. Basically, there's multiple kings in Formia, or four more. I think the story said there was 4 kings total, so his father's just one of the kings. But it was his father he was talking to. And then one of the other kings is the one that he had to best. 3 trials. Bress was sent to Balor of the Hebrides and given an army of the best to get his kingdom back. Now, what I didn't put in here was that when he was deposed, he asked for 7 years to reconcile the differences, shall we say. Which will make more sense because the planning of the other side takes a whole lot longer. These guys are just using brute force and, whatever. Now, the story then says Danak went to Nuandu's kingdom. And I put in the parentheses that he's the new ruler of the Tuatha. But he says his name is Lug at the door. So I don't know why they used the false name in the story. That made no sense. Because it is Lug. So the doorman calls him by the false name, but once inside, he's using his real name. So, whatever. Once inside, he held counsel for the coming war. Now, the Fomor planned to use brute force to take back the land. This is quite interesting in the utmost because when they took Ireland, the story in the beginning said the Tuatha Dé had a treaty with the Fomorians and the Hebrides. So both factions who are now going to war with the Tuatha Dé had a treatise, and the story never mentioned it getting broken. And the cat is really messing things up. Right, where was I? Yeah, it doesn't say that the treaty was broken. In the council meeting, Lug planned on using the forces of nature with his new allies. And it took a whole lot of time to bring in the different expertises and, you know, the druids and the this and the that. That they were in meetings for years trying to figure out the best approach. Let's see. After the Tuatha Dé had their meeting, they met with the three gods of Danu. Yeah, she's right there playing with my hand as I'm trying to work on the computer. Lug, Dagda, and Agma were given what they needed from the gods. As the Tuatha Dé were gathering, Dagda delayed them. The description of what happened with the Dagda does not make any sense to me, so I didn't even discuss that in my summary here. Until it was time to depose their oppressors, aka time to go to war. I say all this above because the answer to the prompt is literally one word: balance. That's the purpose of the druid. Balance. If balance isn't the answer, it's part of the answer. An alliance was established, and two factions of that alliance broke their vow, then oppressed a people. And I didn't put it in here, but the circumstance of vow, if you truly do a vow and you mean it, that vow carries you through lifetimes. Okay? So if you form a treaty with somebody and you're vowing to be their partner, and then you just attack them out of nowhere, you oppress them out of nowhere, that's inviting seriously bad karma. It's going to follow you until you rectify it. Just saying. Okay. All forces of nature were at the disposal of the oppressed to return to balance. As such, the earth and Gaia herself rose up to protect those who were victimized and punish those who would live in dishonor. On page 23, Brez's father tells him he will not help because, in quoting the book, you ought not to gain by injustice if you do not gain by justice. So, Dad wants him to do it right. But apparently, because Dad sent him to Brez, or to the guy to get the to Balor to get the soldiers, that's not necessarily by justice either. And it makes me question if he understood what was going on at a deeper level. As for the themes of light versus dark and order versus chaos, A good example of chaos is the father of Brez just showed up on a random beach and fed the woman that showed up. Clearly he must have known who would show up, but clearly she didn't. I think breaking the alliances counts as both chaotic and dark. The Tuireadh expected honor and didn't receive it. Instead, weird random things that were unpleasant kept happening until war was once again at their door. I do also wonder if there was an existing treaty with the Fear Bolg. The Fear Bolg are the people that they defeated when they took over Ireland. And the Fear Bolg that remained fled to Fomorier. So if there was an existing treaty with those two people and the Fear Bolg wanted justice for themselves, then that might trump the issues with the Tuireadh, potentially. So they considered it a trick to simply reduce the numbers of their powerful enemy. Unless I missed something, and I know I missed a whole bunch of somethings, gold in this story represented the dark and chaotic, while silver represented the Tuireadh. I found this quite curious. Even Nuwandu preferred his silver hand over the new flesh hand. The Fomor king did arrive on a silver ship, but was covered in gold jewelry. A trick to get the woman to the beach? His spears and sword were silver, but the ornateness on them were gold. So that strikes me that the weapons of war were silver for a reason, because of the magical properties of silver. But to demonstrate their power and their superiority, they used gold for a demonstration of excess. Now, this next paragraph made the guy who looked at my essay laugh. It is unclear why the Dagda would agree to give Criddenbell so much food, and how does a blind man know how much food the Dagda is eating? The story makes it feel like he also worked for Brez, even though it says he was idle, because it says he was a satirist. If you're a satirist, that means you're doing something, you're not idle. I think he was added chaos to negatively impact the Dagda, who would not have to be paid for the work he was doing. Basically, because he was giving so much of his food to this being, he was losing weight and therefore not able to conduct the construction that was required for the castle for the king. So he was told the trick to end the dude's life. But yeah, I had no clue why this was going on, but the guy who graded the essay said that when he read it, he thought that maybe the Dagda was just a really loud eater, so, which I hadn't even thought of, but yeah, that's also plausible. Again, gold was used in the undoing here. In this case, 3 gold coins were swallowed by Criddenbell. Again, a representation of excess. He's stealing somebody else's food because he's claiming he's not getting enough, which isn't the case, right? So gold was the undoing of a person who wanted to live a lavish life. And that may be why they called him idle, because yes, he was a satirist, but maybe he wasn't doing the job very well. Dion's sect killing his son was certainly dark and chaotic, both. It was such a random thing to kill your son for healing you. How it was done was dark. Clearly both were skilled in the arts, though. I'm sure there is a deeper meaning that is lost on me. Yeah. I can't even describe that chaotic thing in the story to you. However, he allowed his son's wife to live, so he didn't carry that chaos beyond the offense he felt deserved fatal justice. And this is something that was kind of pointed out to me at the, by the greater person. Well, I'll get to that at the end here. When they discuss the Tuatha Dé, it's always orderly and light, meaning the Tuatha Dé had a strong connection with nature. They also had a strong sense of community, making sure not one person felt like they were easily replaced. This was demonstrated when Magh showed up, and they didn't want anybody coming in that would replace any of their employees. While the chaotic side drew together those best suited for brute force, the Tuatha Dé left no stone unturned in bringing out every skill that could be of help, even if the skill seemed small. And I have to say, they were very creative in using every force of nature in this story. Right? Things you would think that were minor. And that's what the planning, or why the planning took so long, because they needed to put all those little pieces together. It really was smart. While balance is very much a theme here in terms of restoring it, one could also call this traditional good triumphs over evil story, because there was no way the dark and chaotic forces would win. They are already fighting amongst themselves before they even got there. And this was the Fomorians versus the Hebrideans. On the ships over, they were fighting over each other. And apparently the Hebrideans were from Spain. And I don't know where the Fomorians are from. The forces of chaos always seem to eat their own. We see that even more in modern times. And I end it there. He thought I could go more into the whole chaotic thing. Something that he wanted me to address was, we have two characters that are born of Formoria, or Formoyer, or however you pronounce it, and the Tuatha Dé. Brez is, wait, is he Tuatha Dé? Sorry. Brez is Tuatha Dé and Fomorian. The Lug was related to Balor, so that means he's Hebridean and Tuatha Dé. Now, Brez was raised among the Tuatha Dé. I don't know where Lug was raised, but what he was trying to point out was bloodlines play a part in it. For me, bloodlines are not everything. Yes, you have your bloodline karma and all that stuff, right? But your upbringing depicts how you're going to use that. Because if you're trapped into your bloodline, that means you can't get rid of your own karma. You can't get rid of your familiar karma. And that's not true. So I can't respond to that question because there's not enough information to actually answer it. Not with any good analysis anyway. There was something else I was thinking here. I'm going to see if I can bring up the prompt, the questions that he provided. I tried to respond back and it didn't go through. yeah, the first thing he brings up is the bloodlines, in terms of the conflict and balance. And you can't just look at bloodlines. You just can't. And he's using the bloodline concept with looking at who became king and what was the result of that. So basically he's saying because Brez was a Fomorian, part Fomorian, that's why it came out bad. I don't concur with that. Oh, that was, okay. He wanted to bring out the constant flow of chaos and balance. And this was an excellent point. At no time in the story was there judgment between the chaos and the balanced people. They were who they were, and they were accepted for who they were, which is something that people in modern times could really learn from, right? We shouldn't be judging people because we're judging ourselves when we do that. And that was his next point. We should not be judging. We already know that. And basically he's pointing out that as druids we should always be seeking balance, which we also already know that part too. So that's the comments that I got back. I can't think of anything else I need to say on this one. Yeah, I'm just tired. All right. I'll let you go there. Have a good night. And thank you for watching.